एमबीए के बाद एक रोल होता है जनरल मैनेजमेंट रोल। अगर आप आईआईएम अहमदाबाद का प्लेसमेंट नंबर्स देखो तो जनरल मैनेजमेंट रोल के लिए द मीडियन सैलरी ऑफर्ड वाज 27 लाख। ऑलमोस्ट 39-40 स्टूडेंट्स हैड गॉन फॉर जनरल मैनेजमेंट रोल्स। एंड यूजुअली ये जनरल मैनेजमेंट रोल इतना पॉपुलर नहीं है लाइक द कंसल्टिंग और द इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग रोल्स, especially because if you compare it pay wise, it's slightly less compared to finance, consulting, or even marketing roles. However, because it is less popular, a lot of students, when I joined IIM Ahmedabad, a lot of students in the first year had no idea about this. But by the time you come to the end of your MBA program, you realize that there are far more stories that need to be told beyond these placement numbers. And that's why I'm going to cover everything in this video about general management roles after MBA. So I'll tell you everything: what exactly is the role, how you can get into it, what are the pros and cons of this particular role, and what is the salary and growth you can expect in this role. So what exactly are these roles? These are offered usually by conglomerates or big business houses like Tata Group, Aditya Birla Group, Reliance, Mahindra. These groups which are conglomerates and have multiple lines of businesses under them. If you see, for example, Tata Group, it has TCS, which is an IT and a consulting arm. Then it has Tata Motors, which is a complete industry, automobile industry. Then it has Tata Digital, it has Tata Capital as well, which is a finance arm. Then it has the Tata Click, e-commerce arm, Tata Consumer, FMCG, different lines of businesses under the same company. And that is exactly the kind of industry that can offer these general management roles. Because what happens is, once you join any of these group companies, suppose Tata, you join through a program which they have, TAS program, TAS leadership program, which they call, it's a group leadership program. So you can join the Tata Group through the TAS program, and you will be rotated across different companies. So suppose you have joined as a trainee. In the first year, you will be rotated across 4 different companies. So suppose first 3-4 months you will be working with Tata Motors, another 3-4 months you will be working with, say, Tata Digital, another 3-4 months with Tata Capital, and so on. So you can be rotated across these different group companies. And once that first year is complete, after that, based on the company's requirement, your preferences, and your performance as well, you will be allocated one company to work for. So you will be allocated one particular company. You will be working there for 3-4 years. You can continue working there for a longer period, or you can switch earlier as well if you want to. That flexibility kind of exists, but obviously it depends on the company's vacancies that they have across different group businesses. However, what this program is doing is it is preparing you for the leadership role, which means that you know about the culture of different group businesses that exist within the group. So in future, if you want to become a VP or a CEO of a particular line of business, you know the entire culture and different lines of businesses that exist within the group. So you can draw those synergies. Even in your line of business, you can interact with different group businesses and can make the best out of your company as well. So ultimately, these leadership programs, these general management roles are preparing you for a leadership track, for leadership roles within the same group. Similarly, for Aditya Birla Group, Reliance, and everyone also have this kind of leadership track, which they call the general management role. Again, they have different lines of businesses. The nature of work is the same. You will be rotated across different group companies in the first term, and after that, you will be allocated one particular company where you will start working for a longer period of time. So, as the outlook is to prepare you for a leadership track, let me also tell you how you can get into these roles. One is obviously if you are from a tier 1 MBA program, all of these roles are open for you. Most of these programs will come to your campus and you can get hired from there. Second way is if you are in a tier 2 MBA campus as well, then also these roles do come to your campus, except TAS. I believe rest of the programs would come to your campus. TAS is again one of the most reputed programs, so maybe it might not come to certain tier 2 institutions. However, rest of the programs might still come to your campus and you can get recruited from there as well if you are from a tier 2 MBA campus. However, suppose if you have not done your MBA, then can you get hired? Yes, some of the people can get hired. Suppose you're working in any particular line of business, in any say in a Tata Group, you're working in a particular business. So they hire individually as well. You don't need to come only from MBA program to get into this leadership track. Suppose you're already working in Tata Motors after your undergraduation, or you're working, say, in Aditya Birla Capital after your undergraduation. Then what you can do is work in that particular business for a certain period of time. After that, you can do some upskilling program. You can ask your company as well that if you want to shift to the leadership track, how you can do that. They will also suggest you that you can do certain executive MBA programs without leaving the job. You can do those executive MBA programs, certain online MBA programs that you have, but you can ask your particular company as well which particular MBA program would they prefer to have? You can ask your manager, or you can ask anyone in the central leadership team, any HR in the central leadership team, that if you want to switch to a general management track, how you can do that. If you want to join the TAS program, if you want to join the Aditya Birla leadership program, which they call the LEAP program as well, so how you can get into that program. They will suggest you certain upskilling programs, executive MBA programs that you can do without leaving the job. And once you have completed the program, you can start applying for those programs to get into those programs, and there you can get into them. And while we are talking about executive and online MBA programs, before I go to the pros and cons of this general management roles, let me tell you about the partners of this video who will help you find the right executive and online MBA programs if you're interested to find them. Obviously, if you're doing an executive MBA or online MBA especially, you need to be very careful about the kind of university that you choose, because the degree has to be credible, the university needs to be government approved, and that is where the partners of this video will come in very handy to find those, to compare and find those appropriate online MBA institutions, executive MBA institutions that are government approved, and that is College Vidya. So you can go to the website and let AI find the best universities for you. So you can select the course you want to pursue, fill in a few details, and let AI match you with the top government approved online universities. After that, you can talk directly to university officials, get free career counseling from College Vidya experts, or connect with alumni as well for real insights. And you can also compare universities across 30 plus factors, including fees, approvals, placement, ratings, and even EMI options. So आपको 100% authentic university connections मिल जाएगा, free career booster programs मिल जाएगा worth 6,999, up to 10,000 rupees CV subsidy मिल जाएगा on admission, and exclusive jobs and internship portal का access भी मिल जाएगा from day one. And College Vidya was also featured in Jio Hotstar's Brands of Tomorrow season 3 for their contribution to online education in India. So if you want to explore the website, the link is there in the description as well as in the pinned comment. You can check it out from there. Now coming to the pros and cons of general management roles. Starting with the pros, as I have a lot of pros to cover over here, especially because of the fact that most of my batchmates who had joined, say, a consulting firm or a finance firm, a lot of those candidates, more than 50%, or I would say 60-70%, have already left their first job. Most of the students, or most of my batchmates who have managed to stick around the same job, have been people in these general management roles, especially because of the kind of comfort and the kind of work-life balance that these kind of roles offer. So that's the first pro that you have, work-life balance. It offers a very, very, very stable life. Most of the work that you do is not very fast-paced. You will be working on the same project for, say, 7 months, 8 months, or maybe more than a year as well. So you can plan your implementation timeline. You can plan what's the best timeline that fits your company schedule and your schedule as well, and you can map it out accordingly. Obviously, there you have to be accountable for the leadership and chart out the window in a feasible period, but it's very unlike consulting where you need to do everything within 1 month, within 2 months you need to complete this set of deliverables. You can plan out your deliverables in a way that it is feasible for your company and for your timeline and for your implementation timeline as well. Most of the things go in a slow paced manner. It is not very fast paced. Obviously, there is a lot to learn, but it goes very slow paced. You can manage, most importantly, you can manage your timeline because you are someone who is managing the entire project end to end in this track. Unlike consulting, where you have to depend on the client's timeline and everything, here you are the boss, you are controlling your timeline and every part of the implementation. Second is the learning that you get. As I said, within the same group, you have different lines of businesses. You will be rotated across different lines of businesses. So, whichever business you want to learn about, you can just contact them. Obviously, in the first year, you will be learning. In 3-4 months, your learning will be very quick. You will be learning about different businesses, how the different models, different business models operate in different industries in the first year itself. After that, if you want to learn about any business in any year, you can just contact any colleague in any particular line of business and you can just interact with them. You will come to know about how their business models operate. So you will know about a particularly a new industry, even if you want to have some synergy of your business with the other businesses as well. So the kind of camaraderie you have, the kind of connections that you build, the kind of material knowledge repository that you have is vast because your entire group operates in almost all the business lines. So whichever business line you want to know about, you are just a call away from interacting with those colleagues and just knowing about that business line. In fact, there will be a lot of reports, internal reports, that you can just read and know about different business models. Next important pro, and a lot of people undervalue this, especially in the initial part of their career, is the stability that you get, especially in consulting, finance. there's a very strong up or out policy. That is, if you're not performing well for any reason, if your personal life is not well, and if you're not able to translate well in your professional life, probably you will be asked to leave very politely without thinking about how they can make you improve or how they can help you in your personal life as well. In case you join a general management role, especially companies like Tata, Aditya Birla Group, the stability factor is that there, and that reduces your stress to a considerable impact. For example, if there is something not going right in your career, if there is something in your personal life for which you need more time, you can very politely ask the company. They will allow you that time. You will have mentors to grow, you will have mentors to learn tasks from, and you can go slow in your task as well if you're not able to perform really fast. And that is somewhere the general management roles really help, because it helps you provide that kind of a safe environment where you can learn. You can, if you want to go slow at any point of time, you can go slow as well. If you want to go fast, then that is also an option, but it completely depends on you. The company makes sure that it will take care of their employee for a longer period of time. Obviously, if after a considerable period of time you're not able to perform, then that's a different issue altogether. However, you will be given enough chances, and you will be given enough opportunities and learning opportunities to make sure that you perform up to your capability. Next important thing is the kind of ownership and the kind of accountability that you get, especially in consulting. You make a strategy, then you implement the project or not, that depends on the client. But here you manage everything end to end. From the strategy till execution phase, you manage everything. And that is the kind of ownership and execution ability you want to have long term in your career. So you have not only built a deck, you have not only built a presentation, left it there, but you have gone to the ground, then you have implemented things, you have talked to different stakeholders, you have talked to vendors to implement the projects, you have talked to different stakeholders, negotiated with them to implement those projects. It's not about only building a financial model on a spreadsheet or on a deck, but it is to make sure that that particular finances make sense when you go out and you negotiate with real stakeholders as well. And that's the kind of ownership that is really appreciated by a lot of employees, and that is what makes people stick to the same company, because they are getting that sense of work, they are implementing those projects. And if you manage to implement things right, then your reputation within the same firm also starts growing. People start trusting you, and you're handed more and more responsibilities within the same firm. Now, obviously, everything cannot be so glory. There are certain cons as well, and the first thing is obviously the pay. Once you start a particular role, it will be around in the range of 23, 24 fixed salaries, something in variable. So it will approximately go to 27, 28 CTC. Obviously, the pay is less if you compare to, and this is for the top tier B schools like IIM Ahmedabad. If you compare it with, say, consulting roles, usually you get a CTC of 35, 36. If you compare it with finance roles, you get CTC above 35, 36, 40 and above as well you get. So definitely, if you compare it with consulting finance roles, even in marketing, you get above 30. So comparatively, the pay is less, and even the growth in pay will be slightly less compared to what your consulting counterparts and the finance counterparts will have. But it obviously comes, as I said, at the expense of work life balance and stability in your job. Second is, as I said, it is slow paced and you get a lot of work life balance as well. But some of the people don't like it as well, because they want a fast paced environment, especially in the initial part of their career. So what happens in consulting is, every 3 4 months you're switching across different projects, you're working with new people, you're learning about again a new industry. What happens in the first year of your general management role, it happens every year of consulting, especially till the 3 4 years of your consulting life. This will keep on happening. So 4 5 months you're working with very senior leaders of your clients, and you're working with absolute industry leaders. If you are, say, working in, say, communication, or if you're working in automobile industry, if you're working in, say, consumer industry, you are working with the leaders of that industry who have decades of experience. So within 4 5 months you have absorbed that decade of experience. So the learning outcome is really, really quick. The learning curve is really steep in consulting. In general management role, because you will be responsible for implementation as well, you will be working on the same project for more than a year. Obviously, the kind of learning curve that you will have will be slightly less. But remember, you will be very important for your company, for your group. You will be very important. If you want to switch outside, if you want to, say, switch to a different company, then probably skill set of a consultant might be valued more compared to someone with a general management role, because you have mostly implemented one type of project and you are mostly important for your group company, because you know in and out everything about the business lines within that group. However, for other businesses, your knowledge will not be equal. Suppose someone in a consulting firm who has worked with different companies within the same time frame. So exit options definitely would be lesser in general management roles compared to consulting. And the next one is very important that you need to consider is your growth factor. That is, till a certain level, manager, senior manager level, you will keep growing. However, at the senior leadership position, that is VP or CEO, if you want to become CEO of a particular group business, then obviously if there are many competitors who are competing with you for the same spot, and then there are people from outside as well who can come in and compete with you for the same spot. So because there are limited leadership spots, so it becomes very difficult. There are many more things that you have to do along with good work as well to get into those leadership positions. So definitely what happens is a lot of people have reached a certain position, but beyond that, to grow beyond that, it's not always in their hands. There's a lot of luck factor, vacancies and things as well, who is retiring when, who, and if there are other competitors, who are the other competitors that you have, what is the industry scenario at that point of time. So a lot of those things as well depend to take you into those leadership positions, especially positions which have very few spots like a C suite or any of that kind of a role. So that's why you grow up to a certain level for sure, but beyond that, a lot of things are not in your control. If you want to go to the CEO level, a lot of things will not be under your control. So you have to consider that growth factor as well. But definitely, they will compensate you very appropriately, even if you have moved to very senior leadership positions, even if you have not gone to the absolute CEO role, but still you will be compensated appropriately. So that is one good thing, and your compensation will keep growing even if your designation has been stuck for a period of time. Now, coming to the salary numbers, as I've already told, the initial salary from a tier 1 institution, if you make it to say a program like TAS, it will be around 22, 23 fixed salary, another variable joining bonuses, which will take your CTC to 27, 28 lakh. For other businesses like maybe Reliance or Aditya Birla Group, it can be slightly less as well. 20, 22, you can expect the salary to be. And for Mahindra, it is slightly more as well. 24, 25, I think for Mahindra it is there. So different kind of these group companies will have different ranges, but usually from a tier 1 institution, it will be in the range of 20 to 30 CTC. For a tier 2 institution, if you are joining exactly the same track, the salary will exactly be the same. But usually what happens is they offer one grade below as well. Sometimes they offer one grade below so that they can offer open these kind of programs to tier 2 institutions as well. So there as well, they offer program like 14, 15 lakh is the kind of salary that they start in. And tier 2 institutions, or maybe tier 2.5 institutions, you can call it, where they start their offers at 13 to 15 kind of a salary. And naturally, within a year or two, they can progress to the next level and start earning what candidates from tier 1 institutions are earning. And in terms of salary growth as well, if you see, it's slightly less compared to some of the other roles that is offered after MBA. So maybe 10%, 12% annual growth that you can see in these legacy companies. A good hike you get once you get your promotions. Every 2-3 years, once you get promotions, you can see a good hike, but the annual appraisal cycle will be slightly less compared to say someone in consulting. And if I give you a ballpark number, suppose after 5 years, 5 6 years after IIM Ahmedabad, so you can expect, say someone is from McKinsey, BCG, or those kind of companies, they might be earning say 70, 80 CTC, they would be at. And for someone in general management role, they would be somewhere around 40 to 50 CTC depending on their performance. So 40 to 50 CTC compared to a 70 to 80 CTC. So definitely that is also a reason why a lot of people try to get into consulting, even if it comes at the cost of work life balance, because and a lot of stress as well, but they still want to get into that kind of a number, because you can imagine it's almost 1.5 or even more than that. So people are looking for that kind of a salary in the initial part of their career, in the first 5 6 years of their career. And a lot of people, what they do is join consulting, earn money in the first 7 8 years, and then switch to a role like general management once they want to focus more on family life, once they want to focus more on work life balance, then they switch to general management roles. And often they take a pay cut as well if that is required, because then the work life becomes, and your health and everything, you have different priorities. Just not money is not your priority. Once you cross a certain threshold, once you cross the 60 lakh 70 lakh threshold, then money does not remain your priority. So that's why a lot of people switch from consulting to general management roles later as well. That is also possible, but that's kind of a ballpark number you can expect. Within 5 years, you can expect to earn around 40 to 50 CTC if you are in a general management role in a kind of a program like TAS, ABG, or kind of a program. So this was all about general management role. Next, what I've planned is for uploading a video on product management roles after MBA. So if you want to watch that video, make sure you are subscribed to the channel so that you get the notification as soon as that video is uploaded. Meanwhile, if you want to explore other videos and other roles like investment banking or consulting, I have already released videos on those particular roles. I'm putting that on the screen as well. अगर आप interested हो, मैं आपसे वहाँ मिलता हूँ.